Eventually, he found work in the United States where he met and married Elizabeth Long. They had 2 children. In the 1960s, wishing to return to Cayman, he invested in a heavy equipment business being started by his brother, Harold J. Hubert returned to Cayman in 1968 to join Jay in such projects as Cayman Turtle Farm and Governor's Harbor, among others. In 1969, they started a quarry operation, Caribbean Stone Products, which supplied crushed rock throughout the island during the 1980s. In 1985, the brothers bought Island Paving Limited. Hubert has donated time, equipment, and materials to many community projects. And he and his brothers donated a parcel of land for the Savannah Newlands Playground. He was a special constable for the RCIPS and an honorary member of the Lions Club, and he has served on many public and private sector boards and committees.
Radio Cayman's historical vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. It's going to be some open line until 1. 1, we get a chance to talk to our friends at DCFS and the Early Childhood Education as we celebrate Child Month. And then 2 o'clock to close out the half hour. Got a chance to speak to the good athletes over at Speed Athletics. Gonna be fun. It's gonna be fantastic. Join us for this Wednesday's edition of Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email Talk Today at candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's open line to start out the program for today. I trust that you've enjoyed the rain in the parts that it has. The sun was shining, you were embracing it. And if you were out and about, well, you saw the good There's no question we need to champion. 949-8037, 949-6990. Toll free with the compliments of flow if you want. Hey, 1-800-534-TALK, 1-800-534-8255. And of course, you can WhatsApp. You can even call us on our WhatsApp these days, 925-3261. Well, it is open line. You can call and ask a question. You can share as many you have. And perhaps if I can do the conversation justice, as I was asked. I had an opportunity to speak to a fantastic lady earlier. She permits me to refer to her, as an elderly lady, certainly as an elder in her community, and not in a way that she sees, in a sense that she's been allowed to exceed, what the scripture talks about, the 70, but to be thankfully healthy physically, mentally, to be socially grounded, to be spiritually connected in her mind, to be still very much concerned about her community now, if not more than ever. And she shared three things. She talked about the crime that it just seems to be rampant globally, but certainly here in all facets, no matter the time of day, the day of the week, no matter the type of criminal behavior. And I'll come back to that as she was sharing. But secondly, the notion that for some reason the country and its people, and she said in particular as a very, very fervent prayer warrior, as a very active member in her church, the seemingly ease with which the church has abdicated its role, its unwillingness to stand and not to advocate, for the country to do anything other than pray for its leadership and actively engage in guiding society, but for a community that has prided itself on its strong Christian principles and values to be so, almost blind. Now, I would not dare use the word she used, not that it was in any way unfounded or improper, but it wouldn't do it justice because of not only her eloquence but the passion. And she says, we are as a community pointing fingers and blaming, but if we are the body of Christ and as the church, the collective church, we should be very, very mindful of our role. She talked about some of the complaints that the church may hear at its business meetings, or when it gets together to discuss the things, or even sometimes the sermons would speak to issues. But what is the church doing? Perhaps its failure is a reflection of the failings in our society. Now, I'm hoping and praying that I've said this respectfully and responsibly and may encourage us to start to take up a role. But call in. Take me to task, 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free if you choose, 1-800-534-8255. Then, of course, you can WhatsApp, 925-3261. You can even call it, and we'll answer if that's your preference. But she says that in the absence of effective leadership that is honest and just, ethical, morally grounded, then what else do you expect to happen? And so that leads us straight to the issue of crime. The notion that in our society we're seeing criminality, and people, not just young people, because increasingly she's finding that some of them are starting to, instead of having that carefree, can-do sort of approach, they're increasingly becoming concerned about their future safety and the like. And when some of her own go out some evenings, there's this growing concern that the lack of respect that is becoming so evident, the elderly and themselves aren't feeling safe, and that's disconcerting. All right. Let's take this call before I tell you about her third thing. Hey, welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sullivan. How are you?
Oh, thank God I am well. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. But I'm in the weather, but thankful.
Oh, man. Well, I hope that you quickly return to 100% and be back to your normal, fantastic self.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a stupid question.
Never.
You know, as they say, early in the season starts in May here in the island. Do we have a specific date of the month that early in the season starts? We know that the 1st of June is hurricane season, but do you know that we have a date for rainy season in May here in the Cayman Islands?
There's actually a specific date.
Do you know if we have one?
Be honest with you, I don't know. I'm probably not as, how should I put it, fascinated with the weather as many close in my circle. So maybe I can take license by always reaching out to them and, ask them certain things. But doesn't intrigue me that much, really.
Yeah, well, I was listening to the Florida news last week, and they say that the rainy season starts on the 15th of May.
Okay.
And let me tell you something, they was on target.
Okay.
And it made me to start thinking and wondering, I can't recall hearing what specific date of May that rainy season starts. But 1st of June is hurricane season up until the end of November, I think it is.
Yeah, from the 1st of June to the 30th of November.
Yeah, so I was just surprised, and I said I was calling and ask if you know what date rainy season starts here in the island. And so what are we getting here now? I guess is coming from the Florida area, and when I say the Florida area, they say that the rainy season starts for them on the 15th, and they've been having some rain and so forth, and we've been having some overcast and some rain, and then the gentleman who came in back said they had some unbelievable weather there a couple nights ago. So I was just curious, how come we don't have a date for our rainy season here in the island?
Well, it's interesting, and this is just me, and I'll put it this way, that I didn't particularly enjoy my geography class. I didn't find the teacher to be able to deliver the lesson that appealed to me, unlike my economics teacher or the other ones, right? And so I never paid particular attention. But I also find that it's very fascinating to see the enthusiasm with which people get engaged with the weather, to understand that increasingly some of the attempts at using scientific research to maybe appreciate weather patterns, and that to me is absolutely fantastic. Even more so, elderly people, that they can look around and find signs in nature as to impending weather, right? Like, for instance, you're out in the water and you see certain little things. If you know what to look for, the little ripples in the water top could tell you something's going to happen, right? Cloud movements and stuff. To me, that's amazing. But I guess that's part of my less than enthusiastic response to some of the pundits of late. Especially, you look on the TV screen, you see some of these jokers saying stuff that does little more than maybe inflame people and cause them to be a little bit more panicked, than as opposed to just giving them information. And then the appearance that they're giving you absolute by belief, because they have the true data, when really the opinion that they're sharing shouldn't even work their breath that is uttered to use it, but nonetheless, they speak with such authority. I can't really take that, And having said that, it's interesting that we look at it now. 2004 into 5, we saw that hurricanes extended way beyond the 30th of November, all the way into January of the following year. So I'm questioning to what extent we can put dates on things. Maybe some of the foods that we buy have expiry dates, but actually they're so full of preservatives they will probably last the kingdom come. But anyway, just my thought, right?
Yeah, I got you on that. But Erlen, I just want to say that we got a sidewalk built to walk on, right, or even probably ride a bicycle on it to not to be in the traffic. But when you go around the island and see that apartments is putting their big humongous bins on the sidewalk that government build there, or they are not as much as government, but the people who build their apartments. I don't know who build them. I take that back. I don't know who build the sidewalk. But I know how I thought it was to be walked on and probably ride on, to have sufficient length of it to ride on, whatever the case may be. And to see that they're being used for garbage dumps, to be garbage big containers to be sitting on it, and it seems to be okay. And then people is using for a parking space when they can't find some of the park throughout the whole island. Just be on sidewalks with a car parked 100% onto that width of that sidewalk. I remember many years ago when they put one by my brother's house on Walker's Road. I pulled up there one night to drop off something, and by the time I could get to the door to give my brother the item, the police came right up behind me and told me that I was parked on the sidewalk. And to say that happened years gone by and what's happening right now is like it's okay to do it right now, but you couldn't do it those many years gone by when they start putting sidewalks out here and there, But Sterling is, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And getting back to the police department, I was trying to say yesterday that, you put the Cayman Islands in the middle of Miami, we probably be about the size of a pinhead. When stuff, and why I say Miami's humongous, Cayman is very small. And if we don't have sufficient heads here and there and in every department that comes under the government, then, so the jobs can't get done, it can't get full and fulfilled, and then they linger into other months. Like the courthouse, got cases that it is pending, going from year to year and month to month. And I mean, we do say a lot about America do this, America do that, and we do have some American things going on here in this island. They have court cases in America on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. Probably not Christmas Day, and probably not Christmas Day in Good Friday. But going to court orders like going to drink a glass of water. You know what I mean? But I just gave that example that if Miami is the size it is in Cayman, sits in the middle of Miami, it will be the size of a pinhead. And if a police officer in Miami can get to a scene in less than 5 minutes sometime, and we that is so small, you got to wait 45 minutes, an hour for an officer to come to find out what happened to you at your house if you call to complain about something or anything in regards. They're human beings. They took the job. They know what it all stands for. And like I said before, including every government, past, present, and future, if they can't take the heat in the kitchen and do their job right, they will put someone else in the place until they get it done right. Because when we're going to have a train going to school and come out here and go and join the police force, the first thing to say, well, they didn't pass the test. So if our kids can't pass the test to be a police officer or an immigration officer, I know they got some classes going on and so forth, but even make it more stricter that if you're someone who really, really wants to get involved in these things, encourage them, give them incentives that you can come to class. You got classes going on, you can come here and learn. And not everybody's already savvy individuals. Some people can remember things better in the head than write on a piece of paper. And you got people throughout the whole world that cannot write a full statement on certain things and all that kind of stuff. So to keep us down from not getting into some doors here in this island, it's not really fair to the individual. It gives our young children no hope and no encouragement and all those kind of things not to come out here and work in their own country. And that's why they're rebelling and carrying on and talking about these robberies. Robbery comes with growth. That's what happens with robbery. That comes with growth.
There is that acceptance on the part of many, and many have said that. We've had senior police officers share that view. We've heard politicians and other pundits say similarly. But does it really have? Because if we're talking about progress in my mind doesn't just mean that you've got more money or higher buildings or whatever. You have to have safety and security, a better quality of life. If we're having growth and we're having crime, well, is that the growth that we want?
No.
So, and it's interesting to see what's happening. But to your point, and I do recognize that we are near the break, but to your point relative to the politicians, yeah, they're probably failing. But is their failure not a reflection of us as the voter and not being engaged with them, not being willing to not only help but hold them accountable? If the voters are voting for John, Mary, and Sue, and John, Mary, and Sue are not performing, that's really, a shared responsibility as to why, right?
Yeah, I want to let you go, but they were talking about this morning, the voting and the splitting up and the whatever. I didn't get to listen to it too much. But I think, like one individual called a lady, I think we all need to go back to where we was before. Because I haven't seen no progress in to that effect in this new government these last 2 years. I don't know how they can cram it into us in the next 2 years, but I think we need to go back to how we was before.
Well, that discussion with the electoral boundaries commissioners, we'll have that scheduled tomorrow as well, God's willing. Yeah, they reached out weeks ago, to get things aligned. So hopefully it'll engage the public, help to inform them. I know they have other public discussions coming up, and again, it's back to the voters to decide what is it that they want the country to look like, from its political direction to its voting systems. If we're not active, engaged, informed, populace, then whatever happens, Yep. Yes, Mom.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's pause and let's take a short break. When we return, let's take your calls. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Cayman Art Week brings you 5 days of art events and exhibitions from Tuesday the 30th of May to Saturday the 3rd of June, all free and open to the public. Visit galleries and studios anytime throughout the week or hop on one of the buses running guided tours around a different district each night. Don't miss this chance to explore Cayman's local art scene. meet some of the artists, or buy some art of your own. Check out what's happening each day, where the party's at, and how to catch a bus tour by visiting caymanartweek.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It is open line as we take your calls. And to the last caller who was asking about the rainy season, and I was told that there was a particular date in May. And if there is, please share with us. We got not just excellent, weather aficionados in the country and enthusiasts and the like. So share with us. But one of our listeners says, rainy season is May to October, although that seems to be changing in recent times. The belief is that from the 1st of May to the 31st of October. And the weather.gov.ky says mid-May through October. Right, which is probably what we may have heard, but as this listener shares, although that seems to be changing in recent times, and many people will weigh in and share that with the way the world is raging these days, a lot of things that used to happen that you could almost, look at historical data and say, yep, that's how it is. It's changing. Well, whether it's the global warming, which we now call climate change. See, even that terminology is changing. Whether it's the spending of trillions and trillions of dollars to bring down temperatures. Someone who is a very, 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 very strong proponent of the environment has often shared with us doesn't see how spending money can bring about a reduction in actual temperatures, perhaps the behaviors and the like. But that's a discussion that is as fraught with argument as some would say religion and politics. But it's not one that I don't shy away from listening to people. Certainly won't engage necessarily. Again, perhaps more as of the ability to learn if we listen. All right, let's take some calls for those who want to share. 949-8037, 949-6990, or toll free at 1-800-534-8255. It's only Wednesday. Can you believe it? And you have to wait, for the days to pass until sometimes you find reprieve. But then there are those who can gain, a better perspective by taking a brief mental escape to recharge. And this brings me to the third point that the wonderful lady was sharing earlier with us. She said, we're looking at our country, and if we are even up to ignore what's happening anywhere else, it would be a challenge and a disservice to ignore the changes in Cayman. Not all negative, but certainly not all positive. From the outward cry of many relative to the pace of development, to even some who would have a competing voice relative to the need for more development. So it's interesting. All right, well, I'm told that the break is nigh, so let's pause and take that, and when we return, more talk today.
Are you kidding me?
Hey girl, what's wrong?
My eyeliner foundation just ran out and I have to leave Savannah in 15 minutes.
That's easy. Just stop at Savannah Pharmacy. That's where I get all of my makeup, and for a great price too.
Really?
Really, girl. Where are you going?
To Savannah Pharmacy, duh.
Wait, I'm coming too. Ran out of my favorite nail polish.
Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village provides you with more than just prescriptions. Savannah Pharmacy is just around the corner with everything you need and the hours you need it. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. We are here as a team to assist you while taking care of your health. Call us today at 946-3336.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Have you recently quit smoking? Are you having trouble fighting the urge? Breathing deeply can help when the urge strikes. Take deep breaths and imagine your lungs filling up with fresh, clean air. Get more tips like this at the Smoking Cessation Program at the Public Health Department. Classes begin on Wednesday, May 31st. Call 244-2889 for registration. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in conjunction with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
TD, you hear about that March for Jesus that they having worldwide?
Yeah, happening in Cayman too, 27th day of May 2023. Well, that's coming up here soon now. Let me tell you, I got my sneakers. I heard about it too.
And I hear that people can walk, you could ride your bicycle, you could use scooter, and drive your car, any form of transportation you could use.
Well, they also providing transportation from the outlying districts, east end, north side. Yeah, they got to make sure that everybody that won't participate can be there.
So what time we got to be down there?
So they got to be at the 7 Mile Public Beach at 2 p.m. because the march can start at 3 p.m. So you get there for 2 p.m.
Okay. And then what we have up in town? I heard something they have in town too.
Oh, big praise and worship session afterward too. Oh yeah, I heard right of Jen and Leslie similar steps. Oh, I can't wait to praise and lift hands to God. Boy, I tell you, I go to march for Jesus.
Me too.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for sharing with us. Invite you to be part of a discussion if you want. 949-8037, 949-6990. That's 949-6990. Or toll free with the compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. For some people, the more information and access they have, the better. For others, they just want their tried and true and tested route to get them from point A to point B. End of the day, though, sometimes you gotta, take a new lane just to see if it's the same. All right, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon to you, Sterling Dwayne.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Just thankful, that's fine.
Good to hear from you, sir.
I hope the same of you.
Thank you.
Just a few things.
Yes, sir.
Then, as I think this morning to Mr. O.C. show with the Boundaries Commission on it, I think, the Election Boundaries Commission, Electoral Boundaries Commission. That's the right nomenclature. And I remembered something that the former member for many years for East End, Mr. McLean, said that, if you went the national route, that it's quite possible it would not be fair. And I've always thought the same way. The district itself, where to certain districts where the person who the majority of the district might have wanted at that particular time in that election might not be the person that gets elected because of a popular vote around the country. So I've never agreed with that system. I'm not in favor of the splitting up the country into the 19 districts, but again, that has been done. What it is. What I think is a very important part of this whole discussion is that most people don't seem to realize, and they keep saying the party system is responsible for this part. It's a party system. This British parliamentary procedure or the parliamentary system that we have, it is a party system. And most countries, even republics, they have a party. Because you need to have a group to have any effect to begin with. If you go there alone, right, in our system, we see that. And you have a presentation, a bill. And if you don't have backers or followers or people who are willing to subscribe to your ideology or your agenda, it fails. You have to have a party, a group, a collective group for anything to succeed and for government to be run properly and for parliament to be, it has to be a party system. So it's no use. I understand people's arguments about independence and the independent person. And because I'm going to come to the idea of political independence for us in a short while.
Yes, sir.
It's not a viable system. This run the country by, as we see, it can't be done. You have to have a grouping or a collection. You can call it an alliance. That's what they used to call it in the older days, in Jim's days and the days once. But it was a party, and you had a registered party in Mr. Warren's party and with Mr. Orman and them. They had a party, registered political party, and there are two political parties in the famous, what was 1962 elections, I think, so forth. Both running on more or less the same agenda, an independent sort of system of government, full internally independent system of government, more or less, but still a crown colony, so to speak. That's what I'll always call us, because that's what our passports say, we belong to the crown. It doesn't say we belong to a country. Read it carefully. We belong to the crown. The thing I was going to talk about was the independence ideology. A lot of people seem to think that if we held a referendum and it went the way for yes for independence, say we gave it a margin of 60 to 40 or something like that, it'd have to be a good margin. They voted majority yes for full political independence. They seem to think that it's just a change of the system of government, that we'd be able to make our own decisions minus the governance. No. There's a lot more to it than that. First of all, you'd have to write a new constitution before you even held that referendum. Because the constitution that we now operate under would be irrelevant, wouldn't be viable for that type of system. It's not. It's a constitution written with an agreement. It's actually an administrative agreement between Great Britain and ourselves under the main leadership. Final decisions by the British governor here acting for His Majesty, now it is government in Great Britain. So things would have to change. Do you realize that our passports would change? I don't know what time they'd give you for it change. And visas that are now legal and viable under our present system would no longer be, say, U.S. visa and so forth, because it's a different country. That was issued under a different country for our identification purposes and for what we are. So all the students, say, in the United States, if that was to happen, which I doubt it would ever happen at all, that would be the situation with them. They would no longer be they're legally under that system. I don't know what would happen. We would have to have some sort of negotiations with, even with Great Britain, with Canada and so forth, because we wouldn't be recognized as to those agreements, as having those agreements in place any longer. There are many, many things. We talk about having ambassadors or representatives in different countries. We don't really manufacture anything. That's really for countries that manufacture. I know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. They have ambassadors and consulates in different countries. It represents to who they actually ship and sell things to and do business with. We could always have someone represent us for what we do, because we really manufacture very little, a few thousand cases of beer a year, a few hundred cases of rum a year that we export, a few thousand cases of rum cake and so forth, and that's it. And our main business, of course, for Caymanians would be the tourism. And then there are quite a few Caymanians involved in the financial world, which is a big world, a big part of our money, but it also is run by foreigners, and in the main, they control it by far. And the same thing with even the hotels. Where other countries, their citizens control and own, very rich citizens control and own their hotels, their big hotels in other of the islands. That doesn't happen here any longer. Even that is in the hands of foreigners. The most expensive land is now controlled by foreigners, and the majority of the money in the country by far is controlled by foreigners. And we are a minority, of course. I'm talking about generational Caymanians when I use the term we. Mm-hmm. Good. There are lots more to consider. A lot of other things would no longer exist. And of course, the first thing we have to have is a general election, because the members of parliament who are now elected would no longer be relevant under a new system. They would have to, if they re-elect the same people, they would be elected under a now independent parliament, totally independent. So they would no longer exist. The moment you have those general elections, of course, they don't exist anyhow now, but it would be the same system going into effect. Many things would change. As I said, the passport issue, the visa issue, we'd more than likely lose our privilege to have right our own visas, that one entry visa, which is a very important thing for the United States. We'd have to go and make special arrangements with the U.S. There are many things that we don't consider, or we just throw them aside and think that we'd arrange those things after. No, we'd have to think carefully about what we would lose. We hear about what we would gain. We would gain the ability to make our own decisions. We gain this, we gain. Let us think about what we would lose. Also, it's not for me to say which way we should go, but the point is this: we have to consider very carefully when we talk about political independence, what Caymanians, remember what I say when I'm saying we, the other people have somewhere else to go, right? Again, those who have their residency applications in, that would no longer be relevant at all. That would be out the window, because that's for a different country at the time of that referendum. Even those who have been made citizens at the time, we don't know. They would no longer, we could say they're no longer citizens here. There are so many things that we'd have to consider before we can talk or think about that, but as I said, the very first thing is we'd have to write a constitution. Bermuda has one that they have written. I think they probably still keep it on some shelves, some shelf or 13 shelves, but they had written a constitution for independence some years ago. It didn't work out, but that's why their system is more advanced than any other country. They cannot be issued this important edict that we can. They're the only colony, I believe, that has that privilege. And they also get a hand in choosing who the governor will be. I think they do have a say. There was once a Bermudan who was the governor there. Also, and it's a defense system.
Yeah.
And we would therefore have to take some very, very give some serious thought to what we're going to do. It would have to be well planned. I often hear Dr. Steve talking about educating and preparing. He's not talking about academic education, but he's talking about letting them know. It would have to be something that's discussed to the very, very field around the country before you even think about holding the referendum, to let the people know exactly what you would gain,
yes, sir,
what you would lose. Thank you very much for giving me this time. Have a wonderful day.
You do the same. Thank you for sharing with us. And as we go into the break, quickly read this. So there's 2 points in elections. We are ignoring the issue of allowing permanent residents to vote. This will happen, like it or not. And as a Caymanian, I welcome it. Also of concern is the hypocritical issue of requiring voters to only choose one candidate in their little community of residents. Yet the candidate can live anywhere across the islands. Maybe we will read that again at another time. But let's pause, go to our news, and then invite you to rejoin us after we come back.
Follow Radio Cayman on Twitter. All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Follow us at twitter.com/Radio Cayman.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Department of Vehicle and Driver's Licensing will host a Customer Appreciation Day at its 3 locations on Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. The event will be held at the DVDL Crew Road location from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. and at Breakers and West Bay locations from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Customers conducting transactions throughout the day will receive special giveaways and light refreshments. In international news, Prince Harry, Meghan, and her mother were involved in a near-catastrophic car chase involving paparazzi, a spokesperson for the couple has claimed. The incident happened after the Duke and Duchess of Sussex attended an awards ceremony in New York on Tuesday. In a statement, their spokesperson said the relentless pursuit lasted for over 2 hours. They added it resulted in near collisions. No injuries or arrests were reported. Buckingham Palace has not yet commented. A court has ruled that disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes must report to prison while she appeals against her fraud conviction. Holmes had asked a judge to remain free while she fought against her jail sentence for a blood testing hoax. She was sentenced to over 11 years in prison after a jury last year found her guilty of defrauding investors. In a separate ruling, U.S. District Judge Edward Davila also ordered Holmes to pay $452 million to victims. She will split the multi-million-dollar payment with her former romantic and business partner, ex-Theranos boss Ramesh Sunny Balwani. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The headline news are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
When you have a sports or fitness-related injury, trust the expertise of the HSA Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic to get you back in the game. Our internationally trained and certified physicians specialize in sports traumatology, sports medicine, pain management, and orthopedic surgery. For treatment of common injuries such as tendonitis, arthritis, tennis elbow, rotator cuff, or knee tears, schedule a consultation with the Sports and Exercise Medicine Clinic at Smith Road Medical Center by calling 949-8600 or visit hsa.ky for more information.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Born September 25, 1947, at Watering Place, Cayman Brac, Royce Adolphus Dilbert was the firstborn son to Helen and Grace Dilbert, née Tibbetts. As a young boy, he attended Weston Primary School, then later Gainstead High School in Jamaica, when the family moved there to be closer to his dad, who was chief engineer on Cockernel ships. During school breaks, he would work at Hannah's haberdashery store as a wrapper. Wanting to be a seaman and engineer like his dad, shortly after his 16th birthday, Royce would join his dad on the Cockernel ship, the Kirk Pride, as a messmate, later working on other Cockernel ships for Bawden Shipping on the Merco, National Bulk Carriers, West Indian Towing Company, and West Indian Lines. Mr. Dilbert would enroll at National Technical School, and at age 25, he achieved his chief engineer license. By this time, Royce had worked his way up the ranks from BR messman to wiper oiler, fireman, second and first engineer to chief engineer.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling DWAYNE EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to be able to welcome our good friends from DCFS, to be able to even talk increasingly about education. If we can merge the two in the month of May as we talk about Child Month, well, it's even better. So as we invite you to be a part of our discussion, there might be some things as parents that we can focus on and learn, and if not, for our own children, maybe those in our charge, maybe as grandparents, who knows what it'll be like. So I ask, the good company, Mr. Genevieve Thompson, to, thank you again for coming on. And as the chair for the Child Month Planning Committee, I think DCFS has again this year done a fantastic job with the activities. And as we get a chance to talk to our good friends from early childhood education, well, we'll see it. So through you, Mom, as I've asked, to your colleague, Ms. Welcome, to Ms. Nicola, maybe you do the intros and give my voice a rest.
Okay, wonderful. A pleasant good afternoon to those who are on Radio Land this afternoon. We are indeed thankful to be able to speak to our community during this time, Child Month 2023. And our theme says, investing in our children means investing in our future. Mm-hmm. And with me on this panel, we have none other than Miss Nicola Williams. She will be the main speaker this afternoon.
Of course.
As she's a specialist on early childhood education. And with me also is Darlene Welcome, who is also a part of the Child Month Committee and Community Development Officer. Thank you all for having us.
Thank you very much, Ms. Genevieve. And as Ms. Genevieve said, Ms. Nicola will be our featured keynote speaker. We'll engage her because I think as president of the Cayman Early Childhood Association, we've had her on numerous times, and it's been instructive, but it's also been inspiring. But to that, Ms. Darlene, the idea that we're community minded for the most part, whether through our jobs or activities in our church or connections to our school, but just being in our neighborhoods, we want to see good in our community.
Yes.
Through you and with your sort of acquiescence, sometimes as parents in particular, we take for granted what is happening. We don't see the things that are so significant in the lives of our children relative to, give them a book and reading with them, to, taking a ball and being able to actually go outside safely without the threat of someone, nearby with expletive-laden language, encouraging their language skills in a negative way, or to a dog chasing them. Or, there's so much that happens in our communities, and yet we gate ourselves and point fingers and don't see the impact as our children interact.
That is so true. And I was just saying to them out on the outside is that, sometimes it's 13 children in my yard where I'm living, and they called me Nana.
Mm-hmm.
So, once the parents know that by Nanas, that's a safe space for them.
Yeah.
I have 2 basketball hoops outside. They come, they play. And I just say, sometimes they need a Band-Aid. Nana, I need a Band-Aid, and different things. So I just love children altogether and love to, help them along.
And thank you for that, because as expected, your comments, I think I was hoping and on point, you did deliver. To Ms. Nicola, the idea that early childhood education, that safe space that we want to create in our homes, in our communities, we expect. It should just be, but it isn't always, that same safe space in our schools, whether it's in that classroom. And many times we see the unsafeness when it's so evident in terms of the behavior, interaction. But I wonder if there are other things that create a sense of unsafeness relative to the child's development, in terms of maybe the child isn't being sufficiently motivated to interact with other children. So their development, socialization, the book that is available isn't, because it's only 1 copy instead of 10 copies. In a sense, we might see that as being quote-unquote unsafe, because we see unsafe as being physical. But are there other ways that we create environments for children that are not as instructive, not as conducive to their overall development?
Well, there's safety, and then there's also well-being, and well-being is so important for young children. And, young children are born into this world with sort of 2 main drives. The one is to form bonds with their caregivers, and then the other is to explore their social and physical environment. And really the bonds, the attachments they make to their caregivers is primary for them, because they use those caregivers as a secure base to explore. And so children they're so real, and it's such a need and a vital necessity for them to interact with the people around and have these healthy interactions, supportive, warm, responsive interactions. And I know everyone's busy, and even in large group care, which is our focus, it's busy. There are a lot of children. That's why teacher-child ratios are so important to quality care. And so even neglect, we talk about abuse, but the impacts of neglect, it's quite impactful to their well-being.
Yes.
And they're trying to get a sense of trust in the world, that the world's a good place. It's these young babies' first impression with the world. And so, but we were also talking outside. We had a lovely discussion outside while we were waiting, just about, you want to give children just as much help as they need to feel successful. And we were saying not too much, but just enough. If you give them too much, you're sort of in the helicopter parenting type. I don't know that if you know that term. It's quite where you're giving too much help, and then the big message to the child is, my caregiver doesn't think I'm competent enough. But then if you don't give them enough help, it can get into the range of neglect. So you want to try and find this middle ground where you're giving them just as much support as they need, and that helps. I hope I'm answering the question.
No, you
their
did,
well-being.
because I'm so appreciative in seeing where we are, and even though it's the month of May that we focus on child, this is not semantics. We talk about safety being different from well-being, the idea of neglect, and then the overall arching of trust. We all want to be able to trust, and even as an adult, we can trust what is being shared, but perhaps through nurturing, being a developed critical thinker, you verify. But that very young child is in that space, and the adult is the authority figure. The adult is the one that is not only going to keep them safe, we're going to look out for their well-being, we're going to nurture. And I wonder to what extent that the adults that we bring into the space of our children, whether in our homes or in the, the group child setting and the like, are we ensuring that their credentials are there, the competency, their sense of ethics and integrity, their track record, their education, all those things that are going to affect that child perhaps forever.
Yeah, so are you talking about early childhood teachers' qualifications?
Well, yeah, let's start with there.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the biggest indicators of quality and it's not just qualifications, it's experience as well.
Yeah.
And talent and passion and dedication. Oh, yes. So there's so much more, but qualifications are a big piece of it as well. And our association partnered with the University of the West Indies to start a certificate program in early child development. And now we are working on a partnership with UCCI to start an associate's degree in early childhood. Mm-hmm. Because early childhood is such a specialized field and a specialized time of a child's lives, there's a lot to know that's different than elementary education or secondary education. It's not as much about curriculum. It's about understanding child development. And also how important it is to be able to support families. We were talking about that outside too. Early childhood programs are best if they're two-generational in focus. So having strong parent engagement and mutually supportive relationships with parents is so important in early childhood. It's important in elementary and secondary as well, but it's especially important in early childhood. And early childhood teachers need those sophisticated skills to interact with parents in respectful, encouraging ways, strength-based ways, right? And they can learn a lot from the fields of social work and sociology and, in that family-centered practice and being able to talk to parents in ways that are respectful.
I wonder to what extent, there may have been a perception, hopefully, if it was not been sort of realigned, that because it's a young child, don't need much space, you don't need to be that qualified or experienced to work with because, they'll figure it out, they're young, they're sponges, as opposed to maybe the importance as we've seen, not just through research, but just even through our own sort of experience, that young child. And with that in mind, have we in the Cayman context, as we look at the individuals that we employ, we have different categories. So this is a helper, the teacher's aide, whatever that word would be. Then this is the instructor and the educator. Are there different tiers of sort of teaching or teacher qualifications and like?
Yeah, so most preschools will have a lead teacher who will have some kind of certificate, maybe an associate's degree or a degree. And then there'll be assistant teachers. Many don't have qualifications beyond high school. It's really important to me that anyone who's looking after a young child, whether it's an early childhood teacher or a grandparent or an aunt or a mother or a father or a nanny, is doing something really important. And so, young children can't, because of language, it's hard for them to tell other people about the care they're receiving. When even by the time they're 4, they can go home and tell their parents all about their day. But with birth to age 3, parents may not know what their day was like, and children don't have the language skills to let them know. And so it's really important to have that oversight, from the adults in the community to really go that extra mile and make sure these children are okay, no matter where they are.
And that's key. I think I'll certainly ask Ms. Welcome, Ms. Tomlinson, to just weigh in as well. But our children, we look at them, and as long as they look healthy, there's no physical markings, they're not crying, there's nothing else. We think they're okay, but maybe they're not, and that inability to verbalize effectively. But so too is the 14-year-old who may be constrained out of a different reason. Ms. Genevieve, from that perspective, in our community, are we doing enough? No, let's rephrase that. Let's be direct. What failures exist in our community when it comes to making sure that they're safe, they're nurtured?
Well, the adage says that it takes a village to raise a child, and I think that each person in the community plays a pivotal role. The grandparents is important, the step-parent, the foster parent, all plays a role. And I agree with Nicola that it is important that you must have that passion. You must have that zeal. We are the eyes in the community. I do not walk in our community and see children and don't pay attention. If I don't even see an adult, I am looking to making sure they are safe or they appear safe, and where they are, it's okay. So we need the community response likewise to nurturing and caring for our children, not just those who are in our immediate environment.
But that, I wonder if that's just lip service, because for most of us, we'll see egregious behaviors is only when perhaps it comes before the courts that it becomes evident. To Miss Darlene, she created a wonderful, loving, safe, nurturing environment. For the neighborhood, right? Not unlike the experiences many of us had in our little neighborhoods. So, Mr. Darlene, what is it that causes some of us to be so loving and kind and nurturing and get into that area and give, and others will turn a blind eye to the most egregious of behaviors because we don't want to get involved?
Well, for me, I came up in a big family, number one, and we had to care for our cousins and everybody else. I used to cook for like 13, 14 people at one time. And, my mom started it, then I took on from there, and I just love children. And, it's just a part of me, and more so being a child of God, being a Christian, it's we're out there to support and to do what we have to do to see that people succeed and that they're safe, while doing so. And you mentioned something earlier about just looking healthy is one thing, but sometimes when you see a child like staring or doing something else, I or just one side, I like kind of concerned and like get closer to the child, find out what is happening. And so because sometimes there are things going on inside that they need to express to someone, and they need someone who they can trust. So sometimes I'll take them away from the others and just to have that conversation and reassure them that, things will be okay.
Thanks for that, because I was trying to allude to earlier when I was thinking of, the classroom setting where it's safe, there's the child, but maybe the child is off by him or herself. So, Mr. Clint, that was large group, childcare settings where sometimes resources, whether it's the materials, whether it's the personnel, or whether it's that the child is okay, very quiet, well behaved, but it's just over there, maybe thumbing through or staring off. Not disruptive for many of us, even as parents. Oh, little Janie is sitting there quiet, not causing no trouble, so I can see her, she's okay. We're happy, all right? But what, if anything, is going on that we're ignoring, as Miss Darlene shared?
Yeah, I mean, Darlene makes an amazing point. The thing about, children have two responses to any kind of challenges or adversity in their lives. One is to internalize and withdraw, and the other is to externalize and act out. And in all school settings, including early childhood settings, teachers pay more attention to externalizing behaviors. And so those children are more likely to get help. Or for someone to intervene in some way, whereas neglect is more of a silent thing, and if a child it's not noticeable like physical abuse. Neglect, you can see it in care. You can see it in care, but other than care, a child may look like you're saying, withdrawn or shut down, and that's where it's really important for adults to intervene. But in a large group busy setting, teachers may be more focusing on the children who are externalizing, but both need support. They're both equal sort of almost responses to challenges that the child's facing.
And I'll be guided by you is not to point fingers at anybody. Those who know me closely know that I look within first before I question you. I have to question me. But if we look at our ask of our community relative to our elderly, we have the month of October that we celebrate our elderly, which is fantastic. Hopefully we'll become that respectful society to our elderly. But then we dedicate May to our children. And when I keep hearing, it takes a village, that U.S. politician who was president, even though she was elected, her two-term husband, she used that so much that it always became a cliche that had little or no value. And I wonder, is it really that we live in a village to raising the children, or is it a village that is willing to turn aside? And that's an ask that we are unwilling to answer. But what do you think, Ms. Genevieve? I mean, we say it, but really, is it there?
I think to some respect it is still there, because as we have persons still calling us to let us know that there's a concern for a child that they have observed. They're not sure what it is, but something seems off. And as a result of that, they'll give a call. Some will say, don't call my name, so it's an anonymous call, but there is great concern. And when that happens, it makes me feel hopeful that the whole village concept is still there. It is still active. It may not be as prevalent as before, but that is an era too that we are encouraging the community and the neighbors to look out for our children and to see to it that they are cared for and protected.
Expound on that. How are we encouraging that? Because it is fast disappearing, right? We come home, we lock up. Sometimes we engage the communities, even if we are in adjoining properties. We don't know nor interact with our neighbors. If we say anything to the child,
if they are outside playing, don't just stay in. I'm living in a complex, and I look outside and I see the children playing. I go to the door and I take a seat, because even my presence alone, I think, also encourages them. So some of them would look while they are playing and wave. And it's not like we are talking, but they are playing. But they notice that there is an adult presence. It also makes them feel safe. So the little things that we do means a lot. How we engage our children, how we look out for, how we let them feel. A little hug, a smile. That child feels that even although you're not a relative, there is something there to say that you care, that you notice that I am there, that you're interested in me as a person, and you're showing kindness or some love. So there, it's just the little things for me that means a lot to a child as they are out there.
But that's what we individually can do. I wonder what we as the collective societal will, from DCFS to any other agency to any other entity. What are we doing?
Well, I would say that, not everybody's alike. Some people, when they finish work, that's it. They just go home and lock up, and that's it, as you rightfully said. And then you have some who would sit down on their porch and just observe the children and watch. Some would go to the supermarket, buy a watermelon, chop it up, give to the children or something of the sort, and you're building a relationship that the children can trust you at the end of the day. And these days too, parents need to also just keep their eyes up, and you got to be careful, very careful of who is around your children. Yeah. Because
I think that's where, maybe when you come back, Mr. Cliff, you wish to weigh in, if not,
Well, it's just exactly sort of the points that you're making. Children really appreciate the interest of adults.
Yes.
They want so much that response from adults and that interest. And then sometimes, like Genevieve said, just to sit there and not, because the flip side of adults is sometimes they're taking over too much when they're with children. Things like sporting events and there's trophies or whatever, whatever it may be, or out there, again, giving more help than the children necessarily need. But your presence there, your respectful presence, and you're ready to intervene if there's a problem that you think they need help with, that's a sense of security for the children. And you're just showing them that you care. And children respond so well to knowing that any adult out there cares about them and is showing it. They really do. It's such a huge contributor to their well-being.
Right.
Yes, it does.
So when we come back from the break, then that partnership we're always hearing about between the school and the home. I mean, for that young child, that's their world. That's the biggest part of who they are. How do we ensure that that's a very, very meaningful partnership that we engage in? There's that dialogue and communication, and maybe we can talk about that and what impact, if any, that would have. All right, we'll ask you to just please join us after the break.
Here at Savannah Pharmacy, our pharmacists do a lot more than just count out your pills and fill prescriptions. They undergo extensive education in the study of how the human body uses and responds to medicine. They have also built up years of experience in real-life counseling on how to take medication safely. Our pharmacists are on the front lines in keeping our society healthy. Don't risk it or hesitate. Contact us or schedule a consultation with one of our pharmacists today. At Savannah Pharmacy, we care about your health.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Doing a kitchen renovation? At Granite Express Cayman, we can help you with fresh new kitchen cabinets and countertops in less than 4 weeks. When designing your dream kitchen, it's important to balance timeless features that reflect your personality and design aesthetic. Granite Express Cayman is offering a great package rate for custom-built cabinets, kitchen respray, and kitchen countertops with granite and quartz stone. Call 922-0424 for a free estimate. Granite Express Cayman, friendly service and fast installation. Hurry, offers valid while supplies last. Visit graniteexpresscayman.com.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners, now using the most popular and eco-friendly cleaning solvents. 2 convenient locations to serve you: Savannah Countryside and Eastern Avenue, Georgetown. Drive-through, rain or shine, free pickup and delivery services available. Call Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. Also ask about our in-house discounts. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Puritan Cleaners, 949-7104. That's 949-7104.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon, and thanks very much for joining us. And I gather we got, less than 15 minutes in our discussion. And thank you so much for helping us to be able to celebrate Child Month. And as we talk about, the importance of early childhood education. Well, the president of the Cayman Early Childhood Association, Mr. Nicola Williams, thank you for joining us. And from DCFS, Mr. Neville Tomlinson and our colleague, Mr. Orlean, welcome. I was asking, though, because many of us, we send our children to school, to preschool, to daycare, not just because we have to go to work or because we want a break from the child. That doesn't happen. But we want that space to help us to educate and instruct, help that child to develop positively. But then the partnership. Are there things that are specific between, what is shared in the school that comes home and the communication back and forth? How do we reinforce and ensure that that's a healthy dynamic between the school and the home, Ms. Nicola?
Yeah, and that's kind of what we were talking about too on
yeah.
the break, about teachers and parents having closer relationships. But, there are logistical challenges with that. Parents are dropping off, they're rushing to work, so they need the drop off to be fast, and then they come and pick up, and they're trying to beat traffic, and early childhood teachers work long hours, parents work long hours. This busy lifestyles get in the way of trying to form those really important parent-teacher relationships, because especially when they're young, there's so much around caregiving. So how did they sleep last night? Did they eat breakfast or not? Like those quick informal conversations at pick-up and drop-off time are so important to the young child. Or even just things like the child's interest, their favorite, they learned a new song, or grandma's coming to visit on the weekend. If the teacher knows these things, and even the child's fears or things that are upsetting to them, if the teacher knows this, they'll have more empathy and understanding for the child, and then they can care for them better. And then too, what Genevieve was saying on the break, it's really important for early childhood teachers to be sensitized and to understand what to look for in families that are experiencing stressors or having challenges, so that they can link them with the support they need. And we talk, when it comes to abuse and neglect, early childhood teachers are mandatory reporters. But if you're unsure, call DCFS. They're the experts, and tell them what you're concerned about, and they'll let you know. They'll give you advice on how to proceed. But erring on the side of calling in and viewing it more that you're trying to provide help to the family than that you're trying to make a problem for the family,
And for the family too, to understand that all of this is safeguarding.
Yeah.
And not to be hostile or take offense if a caregiver observe and has to disclose, because everything is about protecting the child. It is not about us, the adults, not because we are the one, it's my child, and therefore so. Paramount in all of this is safeguarding and protecting our nation's children. If we fail to do that as a nation, we have lost a generation. Because it's important that the child grows up to know that not only being cared for, I feel safe and protected, and the community is looking out for me.
Starting?
And speaking about parents being busy and everything else, right? They need to find time. Need to find time. If they want their children to be successful, they need to engage with their teacher. They need to engage with the children. You just need to find time somewhere along the line, whether it's shut down social media for an hour or two. Don't go to that domino game with your friends or something, whatever that may be or whatever. They need to find time if they want their children to be successful.
And this is why when I hear the phrase, it takes a village, I understand the mantra, but I keep wondering increasingly if it's become a cliche. And like Ms. Darlene's point, parents are busy, as you shared, Ms. Nicola. You drop in the child, you got to get to work, there's traffic, there's probably a very important meeting, there's a client that needs servicing, co-workers that are antsy, supervisor. But if everybody is pulling in different directions, as instead of the shared ethos of, this is about building that nation of civic-minded, civil people who are invested in the future because we take an interest in a child. That 3-year-old today, one day will be 33, and may then be in a power dynamic. So, Ms. Nicola, to Ms. Darlene's point, are we really making the steps in the right direction? Thinking, 3 decades down the road, not even 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of preschools now have apps such as, Hi Mama or Tadpoles, and they're actually really good. You can send photos of children to the parents. You can even tag photos to developmental skills, which will say, your child's learning to share, or your child, and parents can also, it's two-way communication. But I think that face-to-face communication between teachers and parents, in order for them to have closer relationships, for my dissertation, I did a research study in some of the preschools here, and what it was professional learning, but we did parent open houses, and the teachers prepared for these. We did some professional learning. One was on play and one was on literacy, and the parents would come in, and we tried to. I tried to work with the teachers to say, how can we get them, because, there's low attendance, how can we get the parents in? And we decided, let's not have it at one time. We'll have it from 3 p.m. until 5:30, and it's drop-in. So the teachers had all the children outside, and the classrooms were all ready for them to share about play. The parents picked up their child and came in and played with their child while the teachers were there. And because a lot of parents, I've missed it now, it was at 4 and now it's 4:50, I'm just going to go home. And the nice thing about it, we had huge turnout. And sometimes parents say, I've just got to go. And then they're like, well, what's going on here? Hang on a sec. And of course, the children were involved too. Initially, we were going to do it where it was just teachers and parents, but we were so glad we had children there, because the children were saying, come on, Mom, come on, Dad. Everyone's showing their parents to the classroom. Come in. And so that child was encouraging the parent to come in. And some parents stayed a long time. And they just played with their child in the classroom. And the teacher was there. It was very informal. But I did focus groups with parents and teachers afterwards, and they said they really loved it, and it was doable. It was manageable, and it was valuable, and they liked it. And we tried to make it, as easy as possible for them to attend.
Is that then part of, and me asking this, as parents, irrespective of the jobs we do or the roles we play in life, sometimes we see today's sort of rearing of our children and their interaction with school. Maybe as parents, we've forgotten how to play with the child, the domino, the marbles, the other interaction, and not seeing the importance of quote-unquote play.
And play is absolutely, there's this idea, I think in general, and this is around the world, adults and teachers and educators are understanding the value of play more than they did before. But there are still views that even though it's important, it's not real learning. The real learning is the academic skills, right? And they still want their child to play, but that's not learning. And what we have to realize is play is the driving force for brain growth and development and learning.
Yes, it does.
There's no substitute for play. It is integrated learning, social, emotional, physical, cognitive, language, all in one go. It's very efficient. They have a drive for it, and it's intrinsically motivating. And there's no substitute for it. It's not a luxury or a reward. It's really a critical means for them to figure out their world, and it's the best way for them to do it. And so it's important too, when parents find the time, to interact with their children, to be more responsive in those interactions, and let the child have input as well. Teachers as well. We talk about lesson plans in early childhood. We've got to have a lesson plan. We've got to have it all ready to go, and whether children like it or not, they're learning about bumblebees today or whatever it may be. And there's a lot of talk about the benefits of emergent curriculum, where we actually find out from parents and children what are their interests, what do they want to find out about, and try and work that into the curriculum or the early learning experiences that you're providing for them. We know children are so eager to share what they know and what they think and their theories, and asking questions. The younger they are, the more questions you get. 3-4-year-olds, it's nonstop questions. And trying to help them answer those questions is really important for young children. They want to be heard so badly by adults.
I observed a video clip recently, and the children were speaking about their grandparents. They were enjoying the walk, the talk, the play, the all engaging, and they were comparing it, and they found it such great delight.
Yeah.
And I listened carefully as each child expressed something about that they never saw with their parents.
Yeah.
And it stuck with me, because I'm saying here the children are telling us what they enjoy.
Yeah.
And how they look forward to this.
Yeah.
And each child in that video clip, it was the grandfather or the grandmother that they were describing who did something to them or with them that left with them.
They have a radar for that kind of thing. Even, and technology is such a big thing, and people talk about children being very sort of almost addicted to the technology, but they know the difference.
They know.
They would rather, especially the younger they are, the more they know, they would rather sit on their parents' lap and read a story than watch one on the iPad.
Of course they would.
And neuroscience shows that their brain responds better to that than watching it on. And they understand. Even one time I went into one of the classes in one of my preschools, and the teacher was playing a song, and they were all dancing to it. And I asked if I could come and share a song that my grandmother used to sing with me. It's very similar to what you're saying. And I sat down, told them about it. And I said, my grandmother used to sing this to me all the time. Do you want to hear it? I won't sing it for you because my voice is terrible.
Oh,
and my voice is terrible. And I started singing it, and you could see. It was so different than them. They were having fun, sure. Yes. But here, they asked me every day after that, as I told them there was a video of my grandmother singing it, every day until I brought it in. Where's the video? Where's the video? I thought you were going to show us your They want to see my grandmother singing it because they could tell it was special to me. Yes. And they have a radar for that. Mm-hmm. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, I recognize the time, but could I share this? Because I think, despite the content, we're talking about the importance of communication, right? This listener shares, many schools they're the worst at the communication. So, even worse at allowing feedback or engage in discussion, even on social media. Then they blame parents for the failing reports over schools. Sometimes they don't even live stream or record the PTA meetings. Now, this is probably a generalization in relative to schools and maybe the larger schools. But as I read that a couple of times and I wanted to share and thank the listener, sometimes we don't call the things that are, and we don't highlight the shortcomings, even if it's one, because if that's only one school with one class, that's still 5 or 50 children that could be impacted. The importance of early childhood and then setting and inculcate that ethos of engagement, interaction, and effective communication. I wonder how that plays out, because as we shared, that 3-year-old today will be 33 in 3 decades, God's willing, with children of, his or her own.
I think that's important too, because people, when children started entering large group care in greater numbers, greater percentages, educators thought, okay, perfect, we've got them there. Let's teach them what they need to know in elementary school, in early childhood. And it's referred to in the research as schoolification or miseducation, because that's not what young children need. It's not what they need to prepare them for school. Actually looks a lot different, just like crawling looks different to walking. And it's very much where early childhood, and we actually, I was talking to Lois Kellyman, and at our association meeting, someone from DCFS is going to come and talk to us, because just what you were saying too, Genevieve, about sensitizing, the biggest role that early childhood teachers can do is make sure that the children's well-being, health, safety, and well-being, there's that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's on the bottom of that triangle. If you don't have that, if a child's hungry or scared or doesn't have that sense of well-being, they're not going to learn the academics anyway. It's a prerequisite. If a child's sitting in, no matter whether it's an early childhood center, grade 2, grade 9, if they're scared or frightened or hungry or anything like that, anything of their basic needs are not being met, they can't learn the academics anyway. And I think all societies, all countries, need, especially in the early years, need to focus more on that prerequisite, because that is the foundation. And if you get that, if you can give all children the experiences they need and deserve to thrive, and they'll reach their potential, they'll be resilient, and they will, and we know it from the research anyway, they will achieve more academically later. But giving it to them earlier, they only have so much time in the day. And so if we're it takes them longer to learn academic skills earlier. And so we're taking time away from the other things, social and emotional and well-being and all of those things, and we're kind of putting the cart before the horse. Academic skills are much easier for them to learn later and difficult for them to learn earlier, and social emotional is much more difficult for them to learn later and easy for them because they're primed to learn it earlier. So we've kind of been putting the cart before the horse in early childhood, and then we're wondering why this cart isn't going where we want it to. And I think there's a big partnership. I think early childhood centers have a much greater role to play in well-being and ensuring all children have their basic needs met, so that they can move on to exploring their world and developing their theories and playing with other children. And that's where a connection between early childhood centers and DCFS is really valuable. And yeah.
So as a nation, therefore, the nation also must capture the importance of early childhood, even in the home, in terms of the caregivers who are helping out before the child reach a preschool.
Exactly.
What do we put in place to make sure that they too, as caregivers, are equipped, understand their roles, that it goes beyond just looking out here and there for the child, but understanding what is happening to the child while at home, how the child is responding or not responding to certain elements, and what role they have to play. So it's a partnership.
It's a partnership.
It's a partnership.
Well, I thank Ms. Nicola again for joining the group. Now, Genevieve, I know your reference that we started 1:45. Do you want to return after the break and talk a bit more until 2, or do we bid adieu? What saith you?
Well, we add some things.
Right. Well,
Linda.
With that, I was hoping you would share your calendar with us. We're going to pause, take a break, come back. Yes. It's been a few extra minutes, but I know, Ms. Nicola, you've got another engagement, so thanks for being part of this discussion, all right?
Thank you so much for having me. I really
looking forward to having you.
Thanks for inviting me as well. I really appreciate it.
Going to have that continued discussion, and hopefully, Ms. Rena will join us and others in the future. But we'll pause, and when we come back, Mr. Orly and Ms. Genevieve will give us an insight into the continued calendar for Child Month. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences. They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we are introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new Boneless Hot Sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
What exactly are the steps in the STEPS 2023 National Health Survey? Step 1 is a questionnaire where you'll be asked about your health behaviors and lifestyle choices. Step 2 involves home measurements like height, weight, and blood pressure. Lastly, Step 3 is a finger prick blood sample for cholesterol and glucose. STEPS 2023 starts on June 3rd. Learn more by logging on to www.gov.ky/steps.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks again to DCFS for facilitating the discussions on Child Month in the month of May. And for inviting Miss Nicola Williams as president of the Cayman Early Childhood Association for being with us now. Miss Genevieve Thomason and Miss Darlene, welcome. Thank you both for remaining with us. This is whatever day in the month of May it is already, but the month is almost gone, Miss Darlene. But there's still things happening, right?
Yes, there is.
All right, well, share with us, a few minutes that we can get a continued perspective.
Just to remind schools in particular once more, and to encourage our teachers to ensure that our children practice the gratitude jars and chart that we have been pushing for Child Month, that a child can put in a jar small things that they are thankful for each day. It could be a leaf to say, I'm thankful for the trees. It could be some water to say, I'm thankful for water, or something that is alive, I'm thankful for life. And or a chart where they can place things on that they are thankful for when they step in school each day. So we are encouraging parents and teachers to, during this month, 2023, during this month of May, to let us help our children be thankful for something. So we are already moving on in our calendar. So Darling will pick up from here to tell us what is on the calendar for the rest of the month.
Well, for this week, on the 19th, we have the games night at Emsley Memorial. And that would be starting at 7:30. So we're asking for children to come out to that event. Again, safe space. We'll have refreshments. We'll have fun. Then on the 20th is the Circle of Love breakfast. And that's always a success. Always looking forward to that. And the children performing, and a lot for them to eat as well. And everybody leaves with a goodie bag. So well done to Miss Julie Hunter and her team, her dynamic team, for putting that on every year. And this year will be 10 years for them. It's actually a brunch this year. We also have games night in the Eastern District in North Side. That'll be at the Civic Center on the 20th. And in East End, also at this North Side, East End Civic Center and North Side Civic Center on the 20th. And they start at 6:30 to 8:30. So the children in North Side can enjoy games there, and the children in East End also. We have a cookie decorating contest coming up, and that's on the 21st. And that's on the 29th. That's been moved to the 29th, I'm afraid. And there are other things like the Craft Kids Workshop. This is in Kimmerbrook, the Ashton Raleigh Center, 9 to 11 a.m., ages 7 to 11.
And to add to this, there's a financial entrepreneurial buzz that is coming up on the 26th at St. George's Anglican Church from 4:30, and we are encouraging our teens to come out. It's going to be a wonderful time helping our children know how to invest, how to save, what it looks like. And we are also thankful for the St. George's Anglican Church to offer their church for us for this presentation. So we are appealing to parents, come out with your teens and let them get some more insight and understanding about finance and investment.
Okay, and again on the 24th we have FRC radio show and Zoom parenting session, Radio Cayman right here at 1 p.m. 24th again we have UCCI social work program problem solving presentation, and that would be in Kimmerbrook at the primary schools. Zoom scavenger hunt, 4 p.m. on the 25th, and UCCI social work program relationship presentation again, Kimmerbrook High School this time. On the 26th, we have, the financial and entrepreneur buzz that Ms. Genevieve just spoke about. So again, just encouraging parents to come out and encourage the children to save and how to make some honest to make an honest dollar.
Yeah, and learn that those financial skills early on, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
And Scripture talks about treating up a child. Maybe following on to what Miss Nicola was sharing, get back to the understanding that we maybe not focus on academics, but on those skills that will take them through life.
Yes.
The important things of how to interact and negotiate, and how to navigate, and how to engage with one another in a respectful manner. The pleases and thank yous go a long way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Mr. Navi, thank you very much, Mom.
And thank you too.
Looking forward to continued discussion next week, and we'll have where we can.
Oh, sure.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
to our listeners, our children are indeed our greatest investment, and if we invest in them now, we will have certainly a fantastic future. Well, part of that investment, join us after. We have some athletes and some wonderful members, parents and like from Speed Athletics going to join us after. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Department of Lands and Survey announces the temporary waiver of the $50 application fee to rectify land registers for a total of 90 calendar days. The waiver period came into effect on May 2nd, 2023, and will end on July 30th, 2023. For inquiries about land registration, contact Lands and Survey via email registry.info@gov.ky or call 244-3420. In international news, our overheating world is likely to break a key temperature limit for the first time over the next few years, scientists predict. Researchers say there's now a 66% chance we will pass the 1.5 Celsius global warming threshold between now and 2027. The chances are rising due to emissions from human activities and a likely El Niño weather pattern later this year. If the world passes the limit, scientists stress the breach, while worrying, will likely be temporary. And breaking the limit for even just 1 year is a worrying sign that warming is accelerating and not slowing down. 8 people have been killed and several are missing after heavy rains caused flooding in Italy's northern region, officials say. About 10,000 people have been evacuated and some have had to be rescued from roofs by helicopter. The authorities said 14 rivers have broken their banks, flooding 23 towns. The mayor of Ravenna says his city is now unrecognizable. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news. Brought to you by Tropical Plaza on Smith Road. Tropical Plaza Variety Store. From knickknacks to quick snacks, odds and ends, and that convenient fix. Across from Cayman Prep, Smith Road in Tropical Plaza. Tropical Plaza Variety Store. A corner store with so much more. Tropical Plaza Variety Store. Tropical Plaza on Smith Road. Things come up. That's life. But it doesn't mean I can't show up. From a runny nose, stubbed toes, to earache woes, headaches, backaches, and tummy aches. When things come up, Best Health Pharmacy over-the-counter solutions get you back in the game. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor. Best Health Pharmacy, your health, your convenience is their priority. Best Health Pharmacy also offers free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling DWAYNE EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. And an opportunity now to look around the table and see, beaming, very, very proud parents and fantastic young people who make us proud always. Well, from Speed Athletics, Mr. Darrell Porter, good afternoon. Good to see you again.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's been sir, see the respect. Set the example the children will follow. No, I'm very proud to be able to not just welcome you and Miss Michelle, but all the parents who will continue to invest. I remember our earlier discussions when the club was getting started, and to see this grown now, hopefully you'll share with us and we'll get the student athletes. But what's it like for you so far, Darrell?
Good question. It's extremely busy. We have grown leaps and bounds from what we anticipated, which is a good thing. When we first met, when we first started, we only had 12 athletes. This is our coming to the completion of our fourth season, and we're roughly 120 athletes right now. So,
wow,
quite a growth.
I remember the first discussion we had. You and the coaches, we were talking. Now we've seen where we are, but a continued investment. Promise, Ms. Michelle Powell, to you, it's good that as parents, that just pull out my girl, just come in. You've been here before. She's the next one. Many hats she wears today. It's, being well, I'll let you say, what would be your role today? Not just as an executive member of Speed Athletics, not just as a parent, but how do you see your role here, assembled at this festive table, but also participating, traveling, and being a part of it?
Well, obviously my role that I see it on a daily basis, other than being a parent first and foremost, is pretty much supporting the athletes. We want to see our young people have more than one opportunities. So any way that I can assist with that, I'm always down for that. Mr. Porter has great ideas for the track club, and that's why we're here, because we want it to be known. It's a local track club, Speed Athletics. We want everyone to know the name. We want everyone to know what we're doing and how they can be a part of assisting our athletes.
And I like the logo, that S there. I thought, that must be for Sterling. Mr. Porter, come on. If I can't be a comedian, at least I can laugh, right?
Exactly.
Be part of. Okay, well, Miss Michelle, should we ask you to do the intro and start first with Miss Cameron of all of us? I mean, ladies first. Introduce our athletes for us.
I am going to let them introduce themselves.
Ooh.
So go ahead, Cameron. You can start.
Well, she directed to you, Miss Cameron.
Okay. My name is Cameron Porter. I'm Coach Porter's daughter. I've been on the team from the start. So I do the field events. I do shot put, discus, and javelin, and a little bit of long jump. And I've loved to see how the team has grown over the years. And like I've said, I've been in track for many, many years. Hands down, I've loved the improvement the team has had over the last couple of years, and I can't wait to see what else we have come for us.
All right. Now you direct who you want to introduce next.
Is it going to go to my left?
I don't know. Anyway, clearly I'm the most handsome member of the track team.
Oh, the track team? Yeah, you're going to say president?
No, the track team. Okay. I'm the most handsome member. Marco Morrison, self-appointed team captain. I mean, I was only in the club for like a year, since last year. I just came over, but I'm glad I made the push.
He's one of our Cayman Brack athletes.
Yeah, we won't hold it against him, right? But I must come from the family connection. No, but sorry, Remarco, from that though, I mean, self-appointed captain, right? Some assume, what is it they say? Many attain greatness, somehow greatness is thrust upon them, right? Leadership is important. I watched the other day while you guys were training. There are those who embody leadership, those who command. The Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. One of the roles you have to be able to command the authority of the members, right? But you lead by example, not just in stature and height. How do you get your team to be motivated? Okay, self-appointed captain. Now, that's you put yourself there.
Me, it's easy. It's easy because I'm just good. I'm actually just good because I came over here and Coach Porter was like, "You're gonna be really good because you get to chase down boys like Adrian and Jacob." But let's not talk about here. Circumstances. Some athletes get kind of injured. I took over the role of being the person to get chased down.
Okay,
all right. I mean, so it's pretty easy. So everybody's trying to get to my level.
So you appoint the next team member to introduce himself.
Oh.
You only got two to pick from, Craig.
Jacob.
I knew he was going to pivot to Jacob Ebanks. Okay.
Hello. My name is Jacob Ebanks. I'm 16 years old, and I've been on the track team for about 2 years now. And I'm in the sprinting event, so I run, the 100, 200, and 400. And, I've always had a knack for sprinting since a young age. I've always wanted to be involved in this kind of sport. So, it means a lot to me to be able to, pursue that and really, train with, such a professional coach and coaching system, really get the most out of my training and really, see myself grow as an athlete.
Awesome, man. It really, I feel such pride and joy, and it's only and always when the students are here. So it's really nice to see you. You got to follow Jacob. He set the tone for the introduction, man.
So my name is Raldane Thomas. I am 16 years old as well. I've been a part of the team for about 2 years now, and I haven't really been a part of track for that long, but I used to be a footballer, and then when I came over to Grand Cayman, I never competed in a sport until my friend invited me to track to join the speed athletics team, and then ever since it's been history. I do discus, shot put, a little bit of javelin, and when coach wants to, he throws me in the sprints, which I don't like, but that's a part of it. And I really.
Yeah, and then Miss.
Oh, and also the record holder for the under 17 discus throw at intersecondary. So it's been a great experience, a great club, and yeah.
Coach Porter, if I may ask you, because Jacob shared the training and the coaching system, and I think for many of us, team sports in particular, the importance of effective training, proper training, from the warm up to the cool down and everything in between. But it's not just the physical. There's a lot more going into it. I commend teams that are genuinely invested in their young people, so they're balancing their schoolwork, they're socializing and interacting, because we're all teenagers here, right? Yeah. And so we have to keep our social life up. The demands of our parents. Talk to us about that training, the intensity, the importance of it. What are you expecting from it?
There's a lot that goes in behind that, like you said. We're trying to teach the concept of what these kids are going to realize at the next level when they get to university. So it's always an evolving door as far as the training goes. We're always trying to pick up little new techniques and stuff like that. But outside of just track itself, it's a constant battle with some of the athletes and with some of the parents, getting them to understand that it's not just a one-track mind. It's not just track and field. It's not just school. It's a combination of both. So we're trying to teach everyone that you got to prepare for that now so that when you get to university, you don't get culture shock. Right?
Yeah, that's one of your key goals from what I gather. Like many other team sports, you want your athletes to perform locally, break the records, win the medals, but get off to university. Let this be a way to facilitate their education.
Yeah.
The Olympic goal, hey, it may be there, but it's the education.
It's for us. It's all about getting that college scholarship.
All right.
So we want to make sure everybody has that opportunity. And we can't demand everybody to go because each person's their own, and we've had that already in the past.
Right.
But everybody's gonna have their shot.
Through you and Ms. Michelle, as the adults and as the students wouldn't mind me saying, as the chaperones, I always think it's important for adults to address children respectfully and properly, but through the adults who are there to nurture them. Can I start with Jacob? I watched the development of your team over the years, from the boxing gym, your two daughters, if it's okay, and not just their confidence, not just their ability, but their personalities, the way that they've moved about with a respect, but with a purpose. And then Jacob, his physique. I know what Mr. Morrison shared, but when he said, he has to chase him down, I realized that he has excellence. So, Jacob, that camaraderie amongst the team, who's better at what, and helping to motivate, and then the cohesiveness that says, okay, we're team speed, and we're going to go and beat this one, locally or regionally. What does that say to you?
I think the dynamic within the team is incredibly important, because we have our moments where, we have a little bit of competition between each other. And, it doesn't really matter within training or if we're competing against each other. We always have to, make sure we, I guess, more or less beat the other one. But that doesn't come from a place of, animosity or anything like that. It comes from a place of wanting to always get better and do better. Because if we as a team, athletes together, can, up the standard each time, it means that when we go and compete against other people from different track clubs, we already have that kind of drive and motivation to always do our best and come on top. So it's really effective.
All right. Well, I'll come back to that, because Ms. Cameron, to see your performance and across the different sports, how does that look for you? And there's what Jacob was talking about, the camaraderie, but also the competition amongst you to push each other.
Like I've said, I've been on the team from the beginning, but I've also done previous sports.
Yes.
So what I've realized is, on my other teams that I was on previously, the family bond that we have on our team was never there. I can hands down say that every single person on this team, I consider a family member. Everyone gets along with everyone. There's no, like Jacob said, there's no animosity between any of us. Any competition we have is always out of just good fun and wanting to better the other person. Over the years, I've just seen how this team has grown to love each other, and how we always want the best for each other, and we're going to make sure that each person continues to get better, no one's going to fall behind. And it's very nice to see, because you don't see that often anymore, people care about each other. So the fact that we can see that in our team ourselves every day, wanting to make our teammates get better, not only just ourselves as well, but we just want the better from everyone, and then we have that support from our coaches and our parents. It's just amazing, because you don't get that support in every sport. So the fact that we have it, I'm very grateful.
And students are students at different schools, but yet they come together. We have the final break, Mr. Paul. When we come back, Coach Porter, perhaps we could ask about the program some more, maybe events that transpired and are about to come up. And then, of course, Miss Michelle, she can share with us, right? All right, join us after as we continue talking to the students and the athletes at Speed Athletics.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. Wow. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Freedom, Cayman Rock. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Cayman Art Week brings you 5 days of art events and exhibitions from Tuesday the 30th of May to Saturday the 3rd of June, all free and open to the public. Visit galleries and studios anytime throughout the week or hop on one of the buses running guided tours around a different district each night. Don't miss this chance to explore Cayman's local art scene. Meet some of the artists or buy some art of your own. Check out what's happening each day, where the party's at, and how to catch a bus tour by visiting CaymanArtWeek.com.
Circle of Love Women's Ministry is celebrating 10 years of impacting the children of the Cayman Islands. I'm Liam Robertson. I've been attending this event since 3 years old. Thank you to the community partners for inspiring children like me. The Ministry of Innovation and Social Development, Ministry of Education, Multimedia, Burger King, Persona Events, Kraton Properties, MJ Party Rentals, Caliente Productions, Mitchell's Trucking. Thank you for investing in the children of the Cayman Islands.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne EBANKS.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome, and thank you so much. If there's ever a time when I feel truly honored and privileged to be in this, remarkable position to facilitate, is days like this when I can see, the future is so bright and beaming with the talent of our student athletes. And this time on Speed Athletics, Coach Darrell Porter, not just as club founder and coach and technical director, but together with one of the parents and executive members, Miss Michelle Powell, the idea that we wear many hats as parents and we involve ourselves in the lives of not only our children, but, the children in our community. So together with, Jacob and Marco, Radina, it's good to see you, man. Despite, not liking football anymore, but that's okay. And of course, thanks for bringing the angel of Miss Cameron around. Coach Darrell, if I may ask you though, you've taken the students away different times. Some of you athletes competed on the national team. They were at Carifta. They did us extremely proud. But they still come back and be a part of the club. And the club competes at club level against others. Got a trip recently?
Yes, we recently just went to the Miami Classic in the middle of April. We took 13 athletes up. We came back with 32 medals. It was pretty good. For the majority, for the exception of Jacob and Cameron, I think they're the only two that's ever competed internationally before. Everybody else was kind of fresh on the team for that experience. You could see it in the very beginning when we got to our first event, the prelims. Everyone was out there pretty nervous. After they got through the prelims and most of them all qualified into the finals, they start to realize that, hey, we can compete with everyone over here in the U.S. and everybody at that meet, and it was like a light switch flipped on, and these kids just went next level, and it's pretty amazing to watch them when they really got down to the nitty-gritty of it all. They went after it, and it was medal after medal. We had Remarkable was part of a relay team that we just put together last minute. Those boys went and won first place, so that was pretty awesome to watch. Jacob, that was his first event back for this year because he had got injured late last year. We've been on and off all season trying to get him back on the track, and we finally got him to the point that he could run again. And Jacob went out there and showed off a little bit. He had a lot of people up there talking about him. He had a lot of people recognizing his talent, so it was really nice. We had quite a few different coaches from different clubs coming to speak to us. Some of them wanting to come down here and compete with us. Some are asking us to come to different events up there now. There are a couple of different coaches that have other contacts outside of just this level of training, and they're wanting to get our club involved in doing some summer events up there. And then talking to some college coaches for us as well. So we made a lot of good connections, and it was really exciting.
And this is where I really appreciate you sharing that, because for many of us listening who are part of this world, whether it's through another sport or we're into athletics, we see that the children, if you guys don't respectfully mind me referring to you as that, they get an experience, they get to travel. For some, don't know how they'll be able to travel. This will be their first time. But if it's other ways, this complements that travel. But they get introduced to competition at a higher level. They get an opportunity to perhaps maybe go off to further education. And Ms. Michelle, this doesn't happen without assistance, whether it's financial or otherwise. And here is, on the heels of our discussion with DCFS, we're talking about the theme, investing in our children is investing in their future. This is investment that we're talking about. It may save government partial scholarship money because these students get a scholarship, but it may also give the community that much more sort of educated, informed, experienced citizens who can contribute. So how do we help you, help the club, help the students?
Of course, community involvement is very important to further have our club successful. We do have an event coming up this Saturday, and it's a car boot sale, pretty much like a trunk sale. Persons can register through our club to be a part of it. But that's just one event. We have, like Mr. Porter said, 120 athletes. Not every, we're a club, right? So we're not dependent on the government. So every travel that we do, it's out of our us as parents' pocket. So like myself, who has 2 kids, it's out of our pockets and everything. So this is hotel, this is travel, this is training equipment. It's just a lot of things that, meet registration. There's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, we want the best for all of our kids. And, we've seen in the news where, even developed athletes suffer from like mental health illness in the future, right? And people don't understand the pressure that these athletes are under to perform at their best. It can wear and tear them as a person, emotionally and physically. And as parents, we do need to support them. We need the community involvement. So if you see the kids out there asking for sponsorship, donation, please just, reach out and assist. We take club sponsorships. We do individual sponsorships. We would love to see the big companies get involved. We don't see big companies on any athlete shirts. We want to see it. We want to see if you have a company, small, big, medium, whatever, please reach out to us. We need all the sponsorship possible. Like I said, it's a growing club. We're looking to benefit our athletes, the students. Like Mr. Porter mentioned, it's not just coming out and training. It's where do they go from here? Yeah. We do not want them to lose that benefit that they have. We do not want them to just forget that after they leave here, then that's it. No, we want them to continue, not just with track, but with an education. They're the future. So we want them to be our future leaders here.
So for this Saturday, if you want to be part of this, as you call it, car boot, car trunk sale?
Yeah, of course. So it is happening at the Truman Borden Complex. To register, you can send an email to SATC Fundraising, which is Speed Athletics Track Club, just, hyphenated, at gmail.com. And you can send a WhatsApp to 916-2066. And yeah, if you want to register. If not, and you just want to come out, support, or put a donation to what we're doing, we start at 7 a.m. We take donations as early as 5. But it's by the Truman Borden Sports Complex. If no one knows where that is, it's where the big track and field is at, and where the swimming gala is at. Yeah.
Now, Coach Darrell, this is not investment. This is not just future, but this is now. Margaret talked about coming over from the bracket. So we got transnational students coming across, right?
We do. We got a couple of young men and young ladies from Cayman Brack now.
and this is, I say that hopefully. Thank you, Miss Karen, for smiling. That's I think the key to familiar connection. But this is where we're talking about country, right? We're building this, and I like Jacob's words earlier of the camaraderie. Yeah, it's not competing with each other in a malicious way. Jacob, many times we see football and real football. Sorry, Mr. Porter. All right, the big clubs on the European circuit. There's bad blood between the teammates, and you see it on the field. You guys work together. So, Jacob, we can't overemphasize that. Having your teammates have your back, you encouraging them, and they pushing you to excel.
It's really just, I guess, what is the main drive, I guess, when we're training and stuff like that, because, you know, it's never a good feeling for, you know, other people to be doing better than you, or just to be, you know, further ahead than you when you know where your true potential lies and where you can be. So to be able to have people, you know, that are already, you know, more established in the sport, not by a sense that like you're not trying or you're just newer, you know, like to see that you have people ahead of you and you have a goal to, I guess, work towards and, you know, be up there with them. It's a physical motivator, because say if you're running and you see somebody that's up ahead of you and you're behind them, you have that kind of, I guess, motivation then to, you know, say, okay, I want to up this, I want to go further, I want to push myself because I know I can get up there. You know, it's more mental than physical.
Très bien, my friend, très bien. So, Marco, as the self-appointed captain, right, it falls on you. You got to lead by example. You know, you're an imposing stature, right? You have to make sure that your team is motivated. How do you do that?
Again. Just be good. Like, honestly. Like, I'm not old. Not yet, but like, I guess I'm one of the oldest in the club.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And like Jacob said, and what's really, really important, especially around boys, is creating competition. So you can ask coach, right? There's like these three boys, and all of us know who we talking about, right? They just always talking trash to anyone, any chance they get, and it's funny, but it gets annoying, right? So it's like kind of
motivation.
It's kind of like, stop talking, like shut up, like, but like I can't beat you up because you're my teammate, right? And I still love you, but it's like, how do I shut you up?
It's definitely like that brother or sisterly bond with them all, that they got the banter every single day. And the individuals he's talking about, it definitely brings out a lot in some of the other teammates, because even though they might not be the ones talking, they want to go perform just to shut these boys up, just so they can come back and say later, hey, you weren't what you thought you were. And we purposely, on some of the competitions that we've done, especially recently, we've kind of like set it up that way that, all right, if you guys are going to talk trash to each other, even if you're not in the same age group, you're going to compete in the same age group.
Moving metal.
Yeah. So put the money where your mouth is, kind of thing, and walk the walk. But by doing that, it is definitely taking things to another level with some of these young athletes, because they're PBing every other week because of it, because they're literally, all right, I gotta walk what I've been talking, so they're pushing themselves and they're pushing the next guy, and it's helping.
All right.
But it's all fun. It's not anything bad.
It's
like
positive.
Yeah.
Well, Ms. Cameron, what do you say to that?
Honestly, I agree. It does get annoying sometimes, but it keeps the energy with everyone, seeing the banter they have, because it does bring a new sense of competition to each other, because there'll be this one person who will say, oh, I can beat you at walking in my sleep, for example. They'll say things like that, and then come competition day, they get dusted. So it's funny to just see sometimes them end up eating their words, but at the end of the day, you know, we won't go and bash you. We will laugh, but it's just like I said, it's a family team we have, so it's really a family relationship with everyone. So we're always joking around, but we know when it's time to be serious and put in the work. But there's never a tension between anyone, because we always know, hey, we're a team. We got to make sure we all work together to get the results we want.
Aldine, what do you say?
Can't really add much if everything has been said, but yeah,
true.
It's great it's just a great environment to be in, to just have people that they know when it's time to be serious and when it's time to have fun. It's okay. It's good to have a great balance. So that's the environment that we have.
All right. Well, I'll leave the closing words to Coach if you choose, but Miss Michelle, I mean, today is Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. And, people want to be a part of the fundraising initiative. Maybe they make a buck, but they also support the club. Tell us more. Remind us.
Well, okay. So we're on pretty much all social media platforms. So if you don't even remember the phone number 916-2066 or the email address satcfundraising@gmail.com, we're on Instagram, Speed Athletics. Cayman?
Yep.
Yes, that's our Instagram page. You can always send us a message. Hey, I'm interested. I personally can't take any more phone
We have
calls.
a website as well.
Yeah.
Which is?
Yeah. It's www.speedathletics.com.
Right. Reach out to us on every platform. We are at the track every day except Fridays from 4:30 to about 7 o'clock. So, yeah, we really need the help from everyone in the community.
And we're seeing the success, and I commend you as coaches and as parents for investing in, but I will ask and invite the rest of the community to participate. There's much need, but when our children benefit in such a positive way, not just through travel, but the opportunities for continued education, that bodes well for our society. So thanks very much. Thanks for allowing me the privilege to have this discussion with you. Mm-hmm. And Coach Darrell, maybe not definitely after the next trip, but maybe even before, please accept the public invitation to come back on, bring us many and whoever you wish.
Awesome, will do.
All right. So this
Thank you
Saturday,
very much.
Please support Speed Athletics. If you haven't, seen us on YouTube, go on. You can see the likes of Miss Cameron and see why such a promising, group of students. Jacob, to you, Margot, Raldine, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right. Tomorrow, please join us. So we have members from the Elections Boundary Commission coming on. They're talking about it. You hopefully heard them earlier this morning. So that's our discussion for tomorrow. Until then, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama.